Easy now, folks. Look how good your flowers can look when you put your water change water in them, eh? Not the point of the video. What I was going to say is I've probably been a bit light on the video making the last couple of weeks, and I thought I'd just give you an update as for why. So one of the things I've been doing is walking every day, at least 2 kilometres, trying to raise a wee bit of money for charity. It's the Anthony Nolan research charity that I've raised a wee bit of money for. They concern themselves with donating stem cells, so people like yourself and myself can go on a register and donate those stem cells when needed. So, been walking at least 2 kilometres per day with Mrs. DKF. She's been doing it with me as well, and I suppose 2 kilometres a day doesn't sound too much, but on top, well, after a day's work and in amongst looking after the family and whatnot, it does eat into your time, so has held me back from making videos a wee bit, but making a few quid for them is a good reason, I reckon, don't you? Another thing I've been spending some of my spare time on is shutting down some tanks, unfortunately. There's the Eheim 54, no it's not, that's a Ciano 54 litre in there. Had pistos in that, and there's the Eheim in there. Got my Hex tank there that had shrimp and snail in it, and my Fluval Flex that was my pea puffer tank. Obviously I've been giving fish away to pals of mine and people who had their eye on them. And I'm going to stick these up into storage for now. This is all because of this energy price hike crisis, whatever you want to call it. I figured I better dial back a wee bit, see how things pan out, and hopefully I'll get these back up and running soon. But for now they're going up into the loft in storage. A lot of the equipment's already up there, and I'm going to get the biggest human fry to help me up with the tanks in a wee bit. The Aqua One cube here, I broke that down because I upgraded it to the 40 centimetre, as you will have seen in my last video. So I'm down to, what am I down to? I'm down to 6 tanks from 1, 2, 3, 4, from 11. But, you know, hopefully, like I say, we'll get them up and running again soon. And the other 30 centimetre cube, I broke that down because I finally managed to get another 40 for the other side. So, I'm going to take you up into the loft of doom here. The reason being, typical for around here, it started raining outside and I need to spray paint the 40 cube. I did try it in the house once upon a time and covered the place in spray paint. Mrs. DKF was not best happy. It travels much further than you think it's gonna. So I'd always recommend spray painting outside. However, I can't do that here, so we're up in the loft. I'm going to use plastic oak for this one. In fact, let me get the light on. Be able to see better. There we go. So I've got this nice shade of plastic oak, which I think is just beautiful. I've covered the sides and sealed the edges with masking tape. And the idea is to just do a light dusting first, let that dry, and then build up the coats until you've got a nice solid colour on there. Plastic coat is great because if you do want to change it up later, you can literally just peel it off. But I'm going to get this done and then we can move on downstairs for the rest of the build. I'm not going to show you the full build. We did that in the last video, but under the watchful eye of my supervisor here, we'll point out a couple of things that I did slightly differently this time. First off, I'm going to place a wee bit of this egg crate in the bottom because I am putting some kind of heavy rocks in this tank and the glass isn't that thick, so just to make sure I don't have any cracks or anything nasty happen, I'm going to use the egg crate to kind of spread the weight out a wee bit. And then use your DKF method, using this clay-based substrate at the bottom for your root feeders. We'll drop the substrate on the top of that and we're going for natural looking gravel this time round. I've just spied a single piece of blue gravel there that is the exact same shade as the back of the tank. That's fate, isn't it? We don't want it anyway though, so we've picked that out. And I'm going to use 2 bags of this gravel. Once the rocks are in place, I'm going to add a 3rd bag, kind of fills in around the base of the rocks a wee bit, and I'll build the back up a bit. Then once that's done, we can, well, what I'll do first is place the box filter first of all. I'm using a double size box filter for this one. And what I'll do is move the filter media, all of it, from the previous box filter that was running on the 30cm cube. I'll switch that into this filter, so I've got an instantly cycled filter to use. But I'm just placing it now so that I know I can remove it when I want to do my maintenance. Just making sure I can remove it without disrupting the rocks. Whilst we're talking about the rocks, I spent ages in Waterworld Aquatics in Glasgow with William and Chelsea, choosing which kind of rocks that I wanted and figuring out how I was going to place them. Thanks for helping me with that, guys. Always enjoy travelling up and visiting you. It is one of my favouriteest fish stores in Glasgow. And I'll drop the link to Waterworld Aquatics in the description below if anyone wants to visit and check them out. I would recommend them. Sorry, once again, for making a mess all over your floor. The idea behind this was that I wanted to build a cave that had a hole in the roof so that the light would shine down through into the bottom of the cave. Quite a cool idea, hey? Not the easiest thing to do in a tank this size, so the rock selection was paramount. And I wasn't even going with Dragonstone originally. I was looking at this kind of grey rock, but the pieces were just perfect for this. Once I'd settled on the ones that I was going to use and how I was going to place them, that's why I took that video that you saw previously, so that when I got home, I could replicate it. And all three of us says, despite taking a video, you'll never get it the same. And we were right, absolutely right. However, I think I've even managed to make it look a little bit cooler. This is perfect. It's really, really, really happy with this. With the planning stage completed, I could get the tank into position and start filling it and start adding some of the plants, which was not made easier by the egg crate underneath, I'll have you know. Took some tinkering and fiddling to get them into position right, and I'd forgotten to rinse the rocks, hadn't I? So you can see the water's starting to turn brown already. Dragonstone is kind of, I'm going to say clay chalky, if you understand what I mean by that. They do require rinsing, and I would rinse them gently. If you put a power shower on it, it's going to kind of break off some of the features of it. So a gentle rinse under a slow running tap or shower is the best way ahead. Like I say, I forgot, so it's colouring my water, and I'm going to need to clear that before I can think of finishing this thing off. Before I fill the tank to the top, I just thought I'd take a wee minute to show you how good the flow is out of these box filters. This air pump is not even at full Hadouken, and you can see you're getting a pretty good stream out of this, so you're going to get plenty of water movement, and it's going to suck in a lot of the waste from the water column. Really love box filters for smaller tanks. I really, really think they're smashing. Anyway, fast forward to the final product, and I think it looks okay. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I suppose, but I think it's fantastic. I'm loving it. I'm really happy with this. I've got my wee Hygge heater, cleverly disguised behind that Java phone. I keep saying I'm going to do a video on that heater, and I will. I think it's got a lot of good features about it, so I need to get onto that. Got my Dwarf Emerald Rasbora back in their hooks. They're sulking a little bit because I messed about with the house without asking them, so lost a bit of colour, but they'll colour up when they're happier. And some Scarlet Badis, Dario. I think it's a great wee tank for these guys, I really do. I did some Java moss on the flat part of one of those rocks, which I'll trim in time. Best way to get moss to spread out is to trim it. I'll let it settle in a wee bit first, and then I'll do that. And here is the full view of the display tanks. I've still got loads to do to get it looking how I want it, but this is my wee happy place. As you can see, the lights are starting to dim on the tank on the right because it's getting quite late, but see when the lights are on full, the colours, the background colours of these three tanks just look superb. Might not be everybody's first choice, and I get that, but I like them. I really like how this is turning out. Keep saying that, don't I? But do you know what? That's what it's all about. It's about having fun and creating something that we appreciate and enjoy. certainly what's happening here. Despite the fact that I shut down those tanks, I've still got plenty of great video ideas and plenty to share with you. So if you're enjoying being on the journey with me, I'll see you next time. And if not, take it easy, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'm out. Later, 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 later.